must be honest. The threat to democracy must be defended. My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January 6th. I will not do that. This is the moment to speak the truth and to bury the lies.
Now that takes some guts. That, the ultimate in chutzpah. The Democrats and Joe Biden, they are burying the truth and pushing lies about January 6th. And here's proof that they buried the truth about January 6th. We had prime time televised hearings about that day, right? Did they mention Ashley Babbitt? No, not a word. An American citizen was killed by a Capitol police officer, and they didn't bring it up. It makes about a sentence and a half in the report. Any professional law enforcement officer in the country will tell you that what happened to her was not justified. A lot of them will actually call it murder. I want to know the truth about January 6th. The Democrats do not, because a lot of them just might be in trouble. Number one, we have to never forget the little cop. Who was that little cop? Waving people in, step right up, the Capitol is that way. Step right in. What was that all about? Who is that person? Why were the police officers just standing there as people came on in, almost like some sort of welcome committee, right? And the three officers who just walked off their post for no apparent reason and set the conditions for Ashley Babbitt to be shot. See, they weren't being harmed in any way, and then all hell breaks loose. Look, under the Electoral Count Act of 1887, if lawmakers had doubts about the fairness of the election, they were allowed to raise those doubts and concerns and make objections. Under the Constitution, you're allowed to do that. It's all in there. So when Paul Gosar, the Republican congressman from Arizona, stood up, notice the response. Here he is exercising his constitutional rights. Listen closely to what happened. There's some applause and a lot of groans.
I, Paul Gosar from Arizona.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Arizona rise?
I rise up for myself and 60 of my colleagues to object to the counting of the electoral ballots from Arizona.
Is the objection in writing and signed by a senator?
Yes, it is.
It is.
It's not an insurrection, obviously. As a member of the House and a member of the Senate following the law, you're allowed to do that under the Constitution, under the law. What time was that? That was at 1:12 in the afternoon on January 6th. That's when that happened. And then there were plenty of objections, many objections. Then something started to happen. Protesters were allowed in the building. We know that. You just saw the videotape. At 2:38, they stopped the debate. They stopped the session. You see, it wasn't to stop the counting of the electoral votes. That's not why the protesters were let in. It was to stop the objections to the vote. Because what happened a short time later? Ashley Babbitt was killed. Now, what time did that happen? 2:44 p.m. After she was killed, there was absolutely no way you were going to go back to hearing the objections. A lot of people who had those objections got scared. You remember the narrative of the day, and it all fell apart. I believe that's the big missing piece here. They were let in not to stop the electoral count, but to stop the objections. I wanted to hear those objections. That's not wrong. That doesn't make me or you or anybody an insurrectionist, all right? I want to know the truth. Joe Biden and his allies do not. I don't think they can handle the truth. One other thing about last night, did you see the Republican response?
My American dream allowed me, the daughter of two small business owners from